Okay, so we're going to start standing up with our bands. I've got my phone in my pocket. I'm just going to turn my phone off like I always forget. Okay, so we'll start standing up with our bands, but I'm going to use a blue band, not the black, because we're just warming up. So we're just going to get our neutral spine, pulling your belly button to the spine, gently tucking your tailbone under so your pubic bone, hip bone is vertical, shoulders down your back pockets. So I've got that tight pair of jeans on and I'm zipping up my tight pair of jeans. And you stay in this position throughout every single exercise. Keep on pulling that belly button spine because you're going to protect your lumbar spine, and just gently tucking that tailbone under. That helps you create that corset, tight muscles around your spine, protecting your lumbar spine. So we're going to lengthen up. We're just going to do some shoulder circles with our band. So we're opening up our chest, squeezing our shoulder blades together, that tense ball between your shoulder blades and back center. Don't have the band too tight. We're just warming up, squeezing your shoulder blades together, lengthen through the joints, try to relax your hands and back to center. Only if you want to, your feet are hip width apart, you can come onto your tiptoes, back down to the soles of the feet, tiptoes as you lengthen your arms over your head, soles of your feet, or you can stay on your tiptoes. Now if you're going to stay on your tiptoes, focus on the point out in front and pull the belly button to the spine, really helps with your balance. So I'm lengthening up, lengthening, squeezing my shoulder blades together, opening up my chest, mobilizing my shoulders. We'll just do one more. Lengthen up, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You can do this without a band, still opening your chest, really mobilizing your shoulder joints and back to center. We're just going to come up into mountain, pulling the band apart. If you want to, you can have the band a little bit tighter. If you want to deepen the stretch, glue your ankles together. If you're wobbling all over the place, don't glue your ankles together. Have your feet hip width apart. So we're lengthening up, we're prayering our hands, shoulders down your back pockets, arms in line with your ears. So my biceps are in line with my ears. Back to mountain. And we're lengthening over to my left, your right, sticking out that hip, sticking out your left hip. Lengthen through the joints. Don't bend the arm, keep it lengthened, deepen the stretch. Feel a stretch in your waist and your hips and back to center. Only if you want to, you can try and come up onto your tiptoes. And lengthen over to my right, to your left, sticking out your right hip. So I'm lengthening, feeling a stretch in my hips and my waist. Squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine to protect that lumbar spine. Holding that stretch will be strengthening the muscles in your waist. And over to the other side. I'm on my tiptoes, but you can come down to the soles of your feet or have your feet hip width apart. And I'm just going to pull the band a little bit more, deepens my stretch. I can feel I'm really working my glutes there. Don't lean forward or back, shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the sun. And I'm squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button to the spine, back center over to the other side. And you see I'm pulling my arm down a little bit. My right, your left arm down, so I can feel a deeper stretch, sticking out that hip. Holding that stretch is toning my waist as well. And back to center. Come back to center, just roll it out. Just roll out your shoulders, squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening up your chest. Now we're going to do open book. So you're going to step your right foot forward. So you choose the level that's good for you. You can take a little bit of pressure out your big toe. Really still challenging your balance. Hip flexor stretch. This is called a crane, or you can lengthen out that leg. So you choose the level that's good for you, palm to palm. Take a breath in. So it's my right leg and my right arm that opens. Hands stay in line with my shoulders. And I lengthen my arms away from each other. Rotation of my upper spine only. I have hardly any pressure under my big toe, or I'm going to come up into that crane, or you can extend your leg. Total stability. We're going to do 3 each side. So I lengthen my right arm longer than my left, open up, rotation my upper spine. Then pull by a piece of string, lengthen up, pull the belly button spine. Hips are set in stone, head lights out in front, and lengthen back to center. I'm going to see if I can, if you wobble, come down a level. If I start to wobble, I'm going to come down a level. Lengthening out my leg there, I can really feel that in the quads. That one's quite difficult. And lengthen back to center. And then we're going to do the other side. Left leg, step out. You choose the level that's good for you. Even having hardly any pressure under that big toe, you're really challenging your balance. Remember, lengthen that arm. Lengthen your arms away from each other. Hands are in line with your shoulders, head follows your hand. Rotation of your up spine. Close your book, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. So I'm lengthening through the shoulder joints as I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. I'm going to see if I can come up to my crane. Lengthen, lengthen, pull the belly button to the spine, don't forget. And I'm going to see if I can come up a level and extend that leg. I can really feel that in the quads now. Lengthening my arms away from each other, I'm really warming up. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. And just roll out your shoulders. Drop the band, interlace your fingers behind your back. And can you squeeze your palms together? Opening your chest, squeezing a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Now I want you to tilt your head to your right, my left, your right. So you're feeling a stretch in your neck. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you can, squeezing your palms together. Interlacing your fingers behind your back and squeezing your palms together. Then lengthen over to your left, my right. Lengthen, lengthen. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, so I feel the stretch in my neck and feel the stretch in my shoulders. And back to center. And just shake it out. Now we're going to, we've got no pressure on our lumbar spine here. Your feet are wider than hip width apart, turned out at a 45-degree angle. So you're going to hold on to your thighs as you're sitting into your seat. I'm lengthening my tailbone behind me, keeping my back nice and straight. And I'm pulling my knees apart. So I'm sitting into a seat. Lengthen your bottom behind you. And I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, so I'm keeping a nice straight back. So we're in this position, pulling my knees apart. And now I'm going to look over my right, your left shoulder. And I'm pushing my knees apart, pulling my knees apart. And I'm looking over my right, your left shoulder, keeping a nice straight back. Pull the belly button spine. Pretend you're trying to sit on the low chair and back to center, keeping a nice straight spine. No pressure on my lumbar spine. Then I'm looking over to my left, your right, pulling my knees apart. So I'm feeling a stretch in my back there. I'm going to show you from the side, sitting into my seat. Back center, we do it one more time. I'm sitting into my seat, pulling my knees apart, and I'm being pulled by a piece of string, looking over my right, your left shoulder. Can you see my back is nice and straight, pulling my belly button to the spine. So I feel like my head's being pulled in one direction and my bottom's being pulled in the other direction. This is really nice stretch. Then C-curve your spine, and you've got no pressure on your lumbar spine. And then we'll just shake it out, and we'll just do our hamstrings when we get down onto the mat. So we're just going to sit down on the mat, the best way to get down. Step forward onto your knee. That's the proper way you have to get down. Back down onto the mat. So we're going to do a spine stretch, but we're going to work our triceps. So I'm going to use a black band now. You might use a lighter band or a black band. You might have some weights in your hands too, or your wrist weights. So we're going to keep a straight back to protect that lumbar spine. My feet are flexed, shoulders down my back pockets, pull that belly button to the spine. So have that band as slack, as tight as you like, and your elbows are tucked into your rib cage, so lengthen up. Take a breath in, as you breathe out, you lengthen forward, straight back. Being pulled by a piece of string. I'm hinging from the hips, and the length is coming from my hip joints as I'm being pulled by a piece of string. Flex those feet. Feel a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of your legs, elbows tucked into your rib cage, as you lengthen your arms behind you, elbows tucked into your rib cage. I'm holding it for 2 to 3 seconds, C-curve your spine, but you might want to stay there for a lot longer. Really challenge yourself. But it is quite difficult, this one, so I'm hinging forward. So my band is quite tight, straight back. I'm hinging from the hips, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, and lengthen those arms, elbows tucked into your rib cage. Lengthen, you can do this without a band, still lengthening your arms away from each other. Keeping your, lengthening your arms away, elbows tucked into your rib cage. Some of you might want to hold it there, keep on holding it there. It's your own personal challenge. And back to center, really challenge yourself. So lean forward, straight back. Hinging from the hips, Feel the length coming from the hips, flexing your feet. I'm really feeling the length from my hips. So I feel a deep stretch, the muscles in the back of my legs. And lengthen your arms behind you, elbows tucked into your ribcage. Really feeling that in the triceps, the muscles in the back of my arms. Then restack your spine one vertebra at a time and back to seated. We're going to drop the band. You lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, lengthen, feeling a stretch in your triceps, lengthen up. Shoulders down your back pockets. Then we're hinging forward again, straight back. Being pulled by a piece of string. Flex those feet. Lengthen the arms so you feel you're stretching the muscles in the back of your arms. Being pulled by a piece of string and lengthening from the hip joints. Then restack the spine one vertebra at a time and back to seated. We're going to slowly roll down. So either slowly roll down using the assistance of the band. Level 1, hands in line with your shoulders. Level 2 or 3. Now, if you're at level 2 or level 3, you just don't only see the little edge of your elbow. You've got to keep those elbows open. You don't want to see your elbows. You might just see a little bit of your elbow as you come down. So take a breath. I'm going to start at level 2, really slowly. Relax your feet and legs. Lean back by an inch, straight back. Then I'm going to scoop my pelvis, pulling my belly button spine. Really squeeze my glutes, tucking my tailbone under. Some of you might have your cheek cushion underneath your lumbar spine if your spine is not completely flexible and you miss a few vertebrae. You're going to slowly roll down, slowly, slowly, keeping those elbows open. If you're struggling, come down to level 1. So I'm really relaxing my feet, my legs. I'm really tucking my tailbone under. Really feel that in the joints, in the core, sorry. Tuck my tailbone under. Pull my belly button spine. Remember to breathe. Slowly, I'm trying to get every single vertebrae hitting the mat, turning my spine into a wheel. Then you slowly come down. I really felt that in the core. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. If you can cross your ankles and pull your knees apart, just to deepen the stretch in the lumbar spine, hugging your knees to your chest. Now keep on hugging the left leg, lengthen the right leg away. We do this every week, just to stretch the hip flexor and really stretch the glutes. The more you relax the muscles and lengthen through the joints, the deeper the stretch. So really relax those muscles, lengthening your legs away from each other. Bring that left knee slightly out to the side so your thigh skins your rib cage. Then hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle. Lengthen your leg up to the ceiling, pushing into your heel. So I'm still lengthening through my right leg. Hugging that lengthened leg to the chest. Start circling your ankle one way and then the other. Really hugging the lengthened leg to the chest. Feeling a deep stretch in the back of the muscles in the back of my legs, my glutes, but also a hip flexor stretch. Bend the knee, lengthen the leg away and bring up the right knee. Lengthen through the hip joint. Feeling that deep stretch, relax the muscles. Hug the knee to the chest. Bring the right knee slightly out to the side so your thigh skins your rib cage. Now hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, not the back of your knee, and push into the heel. And I'm still lengthening through the left leg, trying to relax the muscles. Start circling the ankle one way, then the other. Really hugging that lengthened leg to the chest. So you're holding onto your hamstring, your calf muscle, your ankle. Don't hold on to the back of your knee. Now bring your knee to tabletop with or without weights. You can just float them up in the air slightly, keeping your shoulders on the mat. Tabletop, horizontal alignment of my leg as you bring your knee across your body. I'm doing my right leg. I should have said my right leg. It doesn't matter. You can put a little bit of pressure on your knee if you want to. Look in the opposite direction. Shoulders are glued to the mat. So I'm really lengthening my arms away from each other at T. If you want to progress, you can lengthen out your top leg. Don't do it if you get pressure in the lumbar spine. So I'm lengthening through all the joints. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Either bring your bent knee or extended leg, your progression back center, but relax the foot and the leg because it all comes from the deep core muscles. It all comes from the hip joints. So you're really switching on your deep core muscles. Bring up the opposite knee to tabletop and bring the knee across your body. Look in the opposite direction. Only if you want to, you can put a little bit of pressure on your knee, but keep your shoulders glued to the mat. So I'm lengthening my arms away at T. I'm going to extend that leg. Don't do it if you get pressure in the lumbar spine. Lengthen through the joints. I'm lengthening through the shoulder joint, through my hip joint. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, either bring the extended leg or bend knee back to center, but relax it because it's all in the deep core muscles. Hug your knees to your chest, cross your ankles if you can, pulling your knees apart. Hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Just stretching out the muscles in your lumbar spine. So we're going to go straight into dead bug, the next exercise. Now you can either, so dead bug can be, we're doing it first of all, left arm, left leg. It's the same side, left arm, left leg, slow and controlled. Now you can either do it with weights in your hands or nothing at all, or a resistance band. It's up to you. You choose the level that's good for you. So I'm going to do weights. So we're lengthening our arms up to the ceiling. Pull the belly button spine. I've got hardly any pressure under the soles of my feet. Don't flare out that rib cage. Think about melting the rib cage into the mat, pulling the belly button to the spine. This can be done at tabletop if you want to go straight into the progression. Hardly any pressure under the soles of my feet. Take a breath in. So you breathe out, same leg, same arm. So I'm doing right leg, right arm, lengthen, lengthen. Pull your belly button to the spine and back center. Hardly any pressure under the soles of your feet. And the other side, I'm lengthening the right leg, right arm, lengthen through the joint. See if you can hold for 2 to 3 seconds. Total stability. So I'm thin ice, so on thin ice. So left leg, left arm, I'm gliding my foot along the ice. Hardly any pressure. I don't want to break that ice. Bowl soup on my pelvis. Total stability. I can really feel that in my core. If you want to progress, tabletop. So left leg, left arm, lengthen, holding for 3, 2, 1. Relax the leg and arm, relax, relax, and lengthen through the joints. Pull the belly button spine. 3, 2, 1. And back to center. So imagine you're trying to touch something with your toes, something with your arm. Pull the belly button spine. You might have to decrease your range of motion. So if your arm, if it's a bit too uncomfortable to lengthen your arm behind you, just decrease the range of motion. Can you see? I'm not going to lengthen my arm totally behind my head. If you want to progress, double dead bug. So you're lengthening both legs and arms away from each other. Pull the belly button spine. You're going to see if you can hold it for 3, 2, 1. This is the progression. Now, the closer your legs are to the floor, the more you're going to challenge your core, but you don't want to put pressure in your lumbar spine. So lengthen, if you're doing double dead bug, you're going to lengthen your legs if you don't want to put pressure on the lumbar spine, closer to the ceiling, lengthening through the joints. So you choose the level that's good for you. So it's the same leg, same arm, same side. Try to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. Now I can really feel that in my deep core muscles because I'm trying to take the pressure out of my feet whilst pulling my belly button to the spine. Remember, you can always come up and down a level. If you're getting tired at tabletop, bring your feet to the soles of the mat. This is going to be the final one. Really slow and controlled, lengthen, lengthen, pulling the belly button to the spine, melting the rib cage into the mat. This is a final one. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side, pulling your knees apart, cross your ankles. And then back to center. So if you grab your ball, put the ball between your knees. So your arms are at T with or without weights. So we do this one every week. Just keep on squeezing the ball now. If you start with the soles of your feet on the mat, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that ball. Hardly any pressure under the soles of your feet. That's really working my deep core muscles. If you start with your knees up to tabletop, squeeze that ball, squeeze it as hard as you can, but totally switch off the feet. So I'm squeezing the ball through the knees. Already that's really working my deep core muscles. I'm lengthening my arms away at T. And now either with the soles of your feet on the mat or up to tabletop, we drop our ball to our knees to the left, shoulders glued to the mat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the ball as you lengthen the top leg away. Keep on squeezing the ball. Lengthen, feel a nice deep stretch down the lateral side, down the side, squeeze the ball. So bend your knees, squeeze the ball back to center and over to the right. Look to the left if you can, squeezing the ball. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the ball. Keep the shoulders glued to the mat. And I lengthen out that top leg. Lengthen, lengthen. I'm lengthening through the shoulder joints. Squeezing the ball back to center. So I've got my knees up to tabletop. Some of you might have the soles of your feet on the floor. As I'm squeezing the ball to the left, look to the right, lengthen, lengthen. So not only is this lovely deep stretch down the side, I'm opening my chest, you're really working your deep core muscles and your inner thighs. This one's really good for any lumbar spine issues, any back problems, lower back problems. Squeeze the ball over to the right, look to the left, and lengthen that top leg away. Squeeze, 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 looking in the opposite direction. Bend the knee and squeeze the ball back to center. I'm on thin ice, or you might be at tabletop. Squeeze, 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 relaxing the feet. Then hug the knees to the chest and rock from side to side, really hugging the knee to the chest. Bring your feet back down to the mat. And we're just going to interlace our fingers behind our head. Now, you're going to, I'll just quickly show you, we're going to lengthen and lift, keeping those elbows open. You don't want to see your elbows. Lengthen and lift. I'm trying to get my chest up to the ceiling as I'm being pulled in this direction. My feet on the soles of the, my soles and my feet are on the mat, or you can bring your knees up to tabletop. You choose progression, that's good for you. Then I'm rotating my upper spine only as I try to get my right hand to my left knee. So I'm being pulled in that direction, trying to peel my shoulders off the mat and really lengthening through the shoulder joints. Keep the arm lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Over my head, I haven't dropped my head to the floor yet. Interlace my fingers, then rest. So I lengthen and lift. Rotating my upper spine only. Keep those elbows open. You don't want to see your elbows. Bowl soup on my pelvis. Left hand to right knee. Lengthen, lengthen. I'm trying to peel my shoulders off the mat. Lengthen my arm over my head. Lengthen, lengthen. My head's not resting yet. Lengthen. Pull that belly button spine. Melt the rib cage into the mat. Interlace and step back down. Can really feel that in my deep core muscles. Keep the elbows open. Rotation of my upper spine. Remember, you can come up a level, bringing your knees up to tabletop. Slow and controlled. You don't even have to rest, so I'm going to rotate. Lengthen my arm to my knee. I keep lengthening through the shoulder joints, slow and controlled. My deep core muscles are burning at the moment. Relax those legs. Interlace. Now, I'm not even going to rest. I'm not bringing my head down to the mat. This is a further progression, rotation. Lengthen my arm to my opposite knee. Lengthen overhead. Lengthen, lengthen. Don't float up your rib cage. Interlace your fingers, and I'm not resting. So you choose the level that's good for you. If you want to progress further, you're going to lengthen your legs up to the ceiling and lower them to a point that's good for you. And do exactly the same. Balancing that bowl of soup on your pelvis. Let's do one more either side. Pulling that belly button to the spine. With these extended legs, this is really difficult. I'm going to have to come down a level. One more. It's all about just rotation of the upper spine only. Keeping that arm lengthened. This move here with my arm reached over my head is called rib cage closure, because you've got to close your ribs. You don't want to float up your ribs. You've got to keep them melted into the mat. Final one, then we're hugging our knees to our chest and rock from side to side. And full body stretch, pull your belly button spine, melt your rib cage into the mat. Lengthen, lengthen, really lengthen. We're going to roll straight over to the side. There's another supine. If we've got enough time, there's another supine exercise I want to do. I didn't have enough time on Monday, but let's see. So now we're just going to do rainbow. You can choose to have a loop band around your thighs. I will try it, but I'm pretty sure it might float up a little bit. We're going to rainbow our legs. So you choose the arm position that's good for you. You know your arm positions. You all know your arm positions. Now everyone brings their legs bottom leg slightly out in front. And it's there for stability. It helps you increase your range of motion of your top leg. Can you see my bottom leg slightly lengthened out in front, but the rest of my body, I'm in between that double glazing. So I'm going to really relax my foot as I lengthen and lift. Now we're going to rainbow our leg. So we're tapping our foot in front. Lengthen and lift my leg behind me and tap my foot behind me. So we're rainbowing my legs. So you might have a little rainbow. Remember, relax the foot, slow and controlled, opening that hip flexor, filling it in the glutes, and I tap my foot in front. Now the aim is to have a nice big rainbow without disturbing the main trunk of your body. So I'm going to see if I can increase my range of motion. Nice big rainbow, pelvis doesn't move at all. So you just do the level that's good for you. So you should feel it in the glutes, you should feel it in the thighs. I can really feel it in my deep core muscles there. So I'm feeling it in the glutes here, opening up my hip flexors, slow and controlled. Remember, all the movement comes from your hip joint, because you've relaxed your foot and relaxed your leg. Now I'm going to come up a level. Remember to lift up the waist, look out, chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Glutes are really burning now, thighs are burning. I can feel that I'm using my deep core muscles as well. Relax that foot. I'm going to see if I can come up a level. Slow and controlled, nice big rainbow. If you want to have a little rest, make the rainbow a little bit smaller, slow and controlled. That's still burning my glutes. And then I come in back into a nice big rainbow. Nice big range of motion, lengthen through the joints. Can you see total stability? I'm not leaning forward or leaning behind me when my leg moves. If you start leaning like this, reduce your range of motion. You don't want to lean forward and you don't want to lean behind you. The only thing that's moving is my leg and my hip joint. Just going to do one in front. Tap the leg behind, big, slow and controlled, and then just pat it out. Now we're going to go, no one needs the loop bands around their thighs. We're going to go straight into our open book, increasing your range of motion. So you choose whether you want to open your book with a weight or a band, or both, or nothing at all if it's too uncomfortable. But it's really important you lie on your block, on the edge of your block. You bend your knees in front. My legs are not behind. Both knees are bent in front. Shins are in line with the edge of my mat. I lengthen my arms out in front. And now I'm going to lengthen and lift that top leg diagonally across. Really relaxing my foot, lengthening through the hip joints. Already I'm firing up the glutes, firing up the thighs. At any time you can reduce your range of motion, don't forget. So lengthen your top arm longer than your bottom. My band's quite tight. And I'm lengthening and opening up my book. Remember, you can have a slack band or no band at all. So my leg is lengthened and lifted. Pelvis stays totally vertical. Head follows my hand. I've opened up my book. Then lengthen back to center, slow and controlled. Pull the belly button spine. So I close my book. I swing my leg behind me with control. And I lengthen and lift that leg behind me. Relax the foot. All the movement comes from the hip joint. Feeling it in the hip flexors, opening up my hip flexors and glutes. See if you can hold it there for 2 to 3 seconds. Slowly open your book. Now this is where we increase the range of motion. My leg is diagonally across. I'm going to see if I can get my foot in front. And I'm going to see if I can increase my range of motion. So I can feel I'm stretching my hamstrings, my glutes and my lumbar spine. It doesn't matter if your leg only comes in front or stays diagonally across. It's your range of motion. As I always say, it's your journey. You get off at your own bus stop. You're only challenging yourself. You don't want to feel comfortably challenged. I keep on lengthening through my shoulder joints, lengthening through my hip joints, slow and controlled. My leg comes in front. I'm going to see if I can get it higher. Remember, slow and controlled. We're going to hold that there. Now, holding a stretch strengthens as well. Holding a deep stretch will strengthen those muscles. So I really feel that in my waist now. Lengthening my leg behind me, holding that stretch. I can feel I'm really working my glutes there, opening up my hip flexors, still lengthening that arm in front. This is going to be the last one. Head follows my hand. Rotation of my upper spine only. My pelvis stays set in stone. My pelvis stays vertical. And this is the last one. Slow and controlled, lengthen behind. Remember, it's from the hip joint. Relax that foot, relax the leg. Lengthen, lengthen. Then bend the knee and just pat it out. We're going to roll straight into supine. And we're going to do classic bridge today. And I'll just show you the classic bridge. So you can do it with or without a loop band, a resistance band over your hips, because that just creates resistance. I'll just show you, you're going to roll up. Only if you want to, you can come up onto tiptoes. Now, classic bridge is either you're going to come up to tabletop, total stability, lengthening your arms over your head. So either tabletop, or you might want to come further, leg extension, flex down and soft point up. So you choose the level that's good for you. Now, when I say lengthen your arms over your head, if that's just too uncomfortable, keep them up to the ceiling, reduce your range of motion. Now, if it's too uncomfortable, because that's difficult tabletop there, I just want you to do 4 little steps, 2 on each foot, but I'm going to take you through it. So that's just classic bridge, and then we're going to do our normal crunch to bridge to teaser. Remember, you don't have to have this resistance band. So I'm going to push into my heels, squeeze my glutes, really firing up my glutes. Only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes. Now you choose the level that's good for you, relaxing your leg and foot, tabletop. Opposite leg, either tabletop or you might do the full extension. So you choose the level that's good for you. Don't drop your bottom, don't rock your hips. Lengthen your arms over your head. So I'm lengthening my knees and arms away from each other, pulling the bands apart. But remember, you don't have to have the band. Hips up to the ceiling, scooping my pelvis. So I'm going to come up to tabletop. If that's too much, remember your 4 little steps. Or you might be able to do the full progression. So you choose the level that's good for you. Always lengthening through the hip joint. Tucking your pelvis. Lengthen your arms over your head. I'm trying to hit every single vertebrae onto the mat. You even lengthen back to centre and start that bridge again. Or you can do your crunch. Holding on to your hamstrings for support as you come up into your boat, or you might progress and lengthen your arms out to the side, chest out to the side, shoulders down your back pockets. Hold on to your hamstrings for support. Unless you want to go a little bit further and try your teaser, lengthening your arms up to the ceiling. Back down to boat. And slowly, slowly, slowly come down. Slowly, slowly, so you really feel it in the deep core muscles. Feet close to your seat bones. So I've got my resistance band. You don't have to over my hips. So I'm squeezing my glutes, pushing into my heels, pushing into those heels, really fires up your glutes. Now, if you're not coming on your tiptoes, continue to push into the heels as you come up to your tabletop or your leg extension. Remember, pushing into your heels. And I'm relaxing the leg, relaxing the foot, slow and controlled. Lengthening your knees and arms away from each other. Squeezing my glutes, tucking my tailbone under. If it's too uncomfortable to do your tabletop, you just do 4 little steps, then roll down. But you choose the level that's good for you. Total stability, nice alignment, tapping your pelvis, C-curve your spine. Keep those arms lengthened over your head. And either into your crunch, or you come back center, hugging your knees to your chest. Boat, teaser. See if we can hold it there for a couple of seconds. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. And slowly roll down. So we're going to slowly roll down, hugging our knees to our chest, or just finish off your last bridge. Then hug your knees to your chest, crossing your ankles if you can, pulling your knees apart. Rocking from side to side. Some of you might want to deepen the stretch and lengthen your legs over your head, but don't roll onto your neck. So you're going to hit a nerve there, stay on your shoulders. Full body stretch, pulling the belly button spine, melting the rib cage into the mat. Full body stretch. I just like to wiggle my toes a little bit. It's really nice. I love a full body stretch. Then we're going to roll over to the side and do the rainbow with the legs, the other side. So I'm going to put my resistance band on. I could really feel it. I do like to torture myself. So I'm in between that double glazing. So my hips, you're always going to lengthen the top hip away. So your hips are stacked, your knees are stacked. Shoulders down my back pockets. Everyone bring their bottom leg slightly out in front for stability. So we're going to lengthen and lift our top leg. I have my hand in front for stability. Lengthen the lift, relax the leg, lengthen through the hip joint. And I'm tapping my foot in front. Nice big rainbow. Main trunk of my body doesn't move. Tap my foot behind me. So you might have a little rainbow. You're relaxing your foot, lengthening through the hip joint. Slow and controlled. Or you might have a bigger rainbow. Slow and controlled. I can feel that in my glutes, opening up my hip flexors. Now, it's only your leg that's moving. Slow and controlled. I've totally switched off the muscles in my leg and relaxed my foot. My pelvis needs to stay completely vertical. If your glutes, I can really feel it in my glutes. If you want to come down a level, remember, reduce the range of motion. So I've got quite a big rainbow here. I'm getting tired, so I'm reducing my range of motion, but I'm still really lengthening through the hip joint. I'm going to come up a level, lift up my waist, shoulders stacked over my elbow. Always, whatever position you're in, chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Really feel that in the glutes now. Slow and controlled. Glutes are burning. Thighs are burning. Pull the belly button to the spine. Don't, top of your body is not moving. Don't move forward. Don't rock in front or behind. Only your leg is moving. Really think about complete stability. Total stability. Pull the belly button to the spine. Glutes really burning. We're just going to do one more tap in front. Big, big range of motion. Really go for it. And big range of motion behind me. Pull the belly button to the spine. And then bend your knee. And so I can really feel that in the glutes and my thighs. But you'll be really working your deep core muscles there. Your TAs, your transverse abdominis. So we're going to go straight into our open book. You know how it works. Just increasing your range of motion. Lie on the edge of your block. Really important, you must lie on the edge of your block. You're going to hurt your neck like that. Legs are in front. And I lengthen and lift that top leg diagonally across. Lengthen my arms in front. Nice line, but really lengthen. So I'm lengthening my top arm longer than my bottom. Keep it lengthened. My band's quite tight already. I feel that in the waist. Head follows my hands. I'm lengthening my arms away from each other. I've just looked down at my pelvis. My pelvis is nice and vertical. I'm not opening it up. You get too much pressure in your lumbar spine if you start opening up like that. And lengthen back to center. I'm really lengthening through my shoulder joints. Don't let your head come off your block. And as I close my book, I swing my leg behind with control, slow and controlled. Lengthen and lift that leg behind. I'm going to hold it for a couple of seconds, relaxing the foot, lengthening through the hip joint. Lovely deep stretch, but holding these stretches, it's really creating strength. So I'm going to increase my range of motion. So I've got my leg in front. I'm going to see if I can get it a bit higher. Lovely deep stretch now. My lumbar spine, my hamstrings, lower back. I'm swinging with control, slow and controlled. My leg behind me. And I'm really lengthening that band, my band's tight, so I can really feel I'm working my obliques there. Really opening my hip flexor, feeling my glutes, holding it. I can feel this really deep stretch, but I'm working really hard holding those stretches, especially with my band and my weights. Holding my stretch here, really feeling that in the glutes and the hamstrings. And my lower back. Lengthen, lengthen. Keep that head on the block. Really lengthening through my shoulder joints, holding it. Glutes are burning. This is going to be the last one. Bring my foot in front. Remember, it's rotation of your upper spine, so make sure that pelvis stays vertical. Rotation of your upper spine only. Already I can feel I've increased my range of motion compared to my first open book I did on this side. This is the final one. So we're just going to hold it and bend our knee and just pat it out. I feel that's a lovely deep stretch, but I can really feel I've got to work really hard, so it's really building strength. So the next exercise we're going to do is we're doing a version, we're going to come straight into prone, and we're going to have our legs at a soft V, protects your lumbar spine. So my feet are always about mat width apart. And I'm pushing into my pubic bone and pulling my belly button to the spine. So we did this last week as well. So my hands are underneath my shoulders, elbows tucked into my rib cage, looking down in the mirror. If it's a little bit uncomfortable, walk those hands forward to the side of your head, by your ears, elbows still tucked into your side. So we're going to have hardly any pressure under our hands, and we're using the muscles in our upper back to do the work. So I'll roll the marble forward, I'm pushing into my pubic bone, pulling my belly button spine, and I'm lengthening and lifting my head and sternum, really pull the belly button spine, and I'm trying not to push into my hands, letting my upper back lengthen and lift my head and sternum, and lengthen back to center. Now it's like a seesaw. Now I'm going to lengthen and lift one leg, relax the foot, or you might want to go straight into your progression, lengthen and lift both legs. You choose, but you don't want pressure on the lumbar spine. And you want to feel you're really firing up your glutes because you've relaxed your leg and your foot. Now I'm rolling the marble forward. I lengthen and lift my head and sternum, pulling my belly button spine. I'm trying not to push into my hands as I feel my upper back is doing the work. If you want to progress, you float up your hands, squeezing a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and slowly back down to the mat. Remember, it's a progression, floating your hands off the mat. Now lengthen and lift the opposite leg. Relax the foot, lengthen and lift through the hip joint. So I feel I'm really firing up my glutes, or you might want to come into your progression and lengthen and lift double legs. You might have a loop band around your ankles, pulling your band apart. And back to center. Then I roll the marble forward, hardly any pressure, if any pressure at all, under my hands. Get the muscles in my upper back to do the work. If you want to progress, you then float up your hands, squeezing your shoulder blades together, push the pubic bone into the mat, pull the belly button spine. Lengthen back to center, then lengthen and lift. That's one leg only, or you might come into the full progression. Hold it there. So it's a slow, controlled move. But I can really feel that I'm getting really hot. So you choose if you want to squeeze the shoulder blades together as you float your hands off the mat. You don't have to float your hands off the mat. One or two leg lengthen and lift. Oh, I can feel I'm getting really hot, especially with these weights, pulling that belly button to the spine. So either lengthen, lift, head. It doesn't matter if you just come up by 1 or 2 centimeters. So it's your range of motion. As I say, it's your journey. Get off at your own bus stop. Pull the belly button to the spine. Keep on pulling that belly button to the spine. Protect the lumbar spine. Lengthen and lift those legs as high as they can go. Again, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 centimeters. As long as you can feel you're working the muscles. We're just going to do one more leg, one more arm. Lengthen and lift one leg or 2. Pull the belly button spine. Push the pubic bone into the mat. Oh, I'm getting tired now. And lengthen and lift. And everyone come down into capital E. So my elbows are in line with my shoulders, and rock your hips from side to side. Just releasing any tension you hold in the lumbar spine. So I'm at capital E. Elbows in line with my shoulders, and we're going to do cobra. So we're going to do cobra prep first of all. So first of all, you're going to roll the marble forward with your nose, and this time you're going to lengthen and lifting, and I'm going to try and get my shoulders down my back pockets, chest out to the sun, so more of a spinal extension. Now I haven't said this before, but imagine you're pulling your elbows back, but your elbows don't move. So I'm pulling, feel like I'm pulling my elbows back like this, but your elbows don't actually move. It helps you extend your spine. Pull your belly button spine. So I feel like I'm pulling my elbows back, even though they stay stationary. And that really helps me extend my upper spine and lengthen back to center. We're going to turn this into lizard. So again, you roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift your head and sternum, shoulders down your back pockets. And I feel like you're pulling those elbows back, and that even though they stay stationary, so it helps you increase that spinal extension. I hope you understand what I mean. And then I'm pushing into my left hand, looking over my left shoulder, pushing into the left hip, really look over that shoulder. Right elbow, glue to the mat. And lengthen back to center. Now again, I'm pushing into my elbows, trying to create that deeper spinal extension and back to center. We'll do the other side, roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift my head and sternum, shoulders out to the sun, chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets. I'm pushing into those elbows, pulling them back, even though they stay stationary, creating a deeper spinal extension. Push into my right hand, look over my right shoulder, pushing into my right hip, left elbow glued to the mat. Really look over that shoulder and lengthen back center. Pulling into those, pushing those elbows back, even though they stay stationary. Now we're going to do 4 cobra. If you want to deepen the spinal extension, you put your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your rib cage. Hips need to stay glued to the mat. So I'm rolling my marble forward, chest out to the sun, shoulders down my back pocket. Now I'm pushing into my hands, chest out to the sun, shoulders down my back pockets, and we've got the cobra. It doesn't matter if your elbows don't come off the mat. If you want to deepen that spinal extension, your hands are underneath your shoulders. Relax the bottom of your body. Pull that belly button to the spine. Elbows stay up, hips stay glued to the mat. And lengthen back to center. Nice deep spinal extension. Everyone puts their hands underneath their shoulders and up to 4-point kneeling. Pull the belly button spine, shoulders stacked over your hands, hips over your knees. We're going to do a cat stretch. Squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button spine. Some of you might want to do that 3-point kneeling cat stretch for a little bit more upper body work by placing your left hand on your lumbar spine. I'm dipping my chin to my chest, a piece of string. It's pulling me from the belly button to the spine. And to cow. Some of you might want to continue with your 3-point kneeling. Sticking out my bottom, squeezing a tennis ball between my shoulder blades. Swap over arms if you're doing 3-point kneeling. Cat, so I'm squeezing my glutes, really pulling my belly button spine, pushing into my palms, dipping my chin to my chest, and sticking out my bottom, squeezing a tennis ball between my shoulder blades, cow, and back to 4-point kneeling. So we're now in 4-point kneeling, with or without a band. We're going to do the rainbow of our legs. So a progression is lengthening out opposite arm, but I'm just starting with my leg first of all. Now, really think about pushing into your palms. When I lengthen out one leg, I've got that bowl of soup on my pelvis, and I'm thinking about pushing into the base of my palms, really pushing to activate my deep core muscles, and I'm tapping my foot to the left and over to the right. So as your range of motion, you might have a little rainbow, but you're balancing that bowl of soup. You're not opening up your hips. Slow and controlled. And remember, we're going to do 4 to 6 taps one side, 4 to 6 the other. Extending the arm with or without a band is a progression. It doesn't matter if you take a little bit of pressure out your hand, but the aim is to get your hand up to shoulder height. Slow and controlled taps. I think I've done 6. Back to center, lengthen. I can really feel that. This can be done at plank. So lengthen. I'm going to incorporate the arm, but you don't have to incorporate the arm. You don't want to be wobbling all over the place. If you feel you're wobbling all over the place, bring your arm down because you want total stability. You want to balance that bowl of soup on your lumbar spine. Relax your foot and leg and lengthen through the hip joint. Pull in the belly button to the spine. Now I'm going to progress with that band. It doesn't matter if you just take a little bit of pressure out your hand. Aim is to lengthen it. to shoulder height. I think I've done 6 taps. And we're going to come over to the other side. And just finish off 4 to 6 on one side and 4 to 6 on the other, with or without that extended arm. So I lengthen, tap. You might have little rainbows, or you might have big rainbows. Real stability, complete stability. Just going to finish my final 4 taps now. Nice big range of motion. Everything is all about stability. Final one. And back to centre. And everyone come into a child's pose. Your knees are mat width apart if you can. If not, glue your knees together. And lengthen your arms forward. Push your chest into the mat. Walk your hands forward. Try and sit on your heels. Can you just gently sway from side to side? I'm rocking my hips from side to side, swaying my body from side to side. Then before I walk over to 10 o'clock, right hand on left. And I keep on walking those hands away, especially my right hand. So I'm pushing my chest into the mat, sitting on my heels. So I feel a nice deep stretch down the right side. Then I walk over to 12, walking my arms forward, pushing my chest into the mat. And then I walk over to 2. Left hand on right. And I'm really still walking those hands away, especially my left hand, sitting on my heels, pushing my chest into the mat. But I'm feeling a nice deep stretch down the left side. And I'm stepping it over to 12. And I'm C-curving my spine, squeezing my glutes up to 4-point kneeling. And we're going to do a thread the needle with or without the band. So pull your belly button spine. But before we do thread the needle, first of all, I'm going to get my right hand with or without a band. Make sure you're stacked, pulling your belly button spine. And I'm going to lengthen my right arm either out to the side or up to the ceiling. Is your range of motion. Keeping my hips set and staying. So we're going to have a nice stretch first of all. And I keep my arm lengthened, lengthened, lengthened as we slowly close the arm. Keep it lengthened. Now I'm threading my right arm under my left. Hips are set in stone. Rotation of my upper spine. I'm going to, this is a progression. You can either lengthen and lift your left leg, or some of you might just want to swing your left leg out to the side. So you can do either or both. As we unthread our right arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. Push into the left hand, open up your chest. If you cannot lengthen your arm up to the ceiling, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze that tennis ball between your shoulder blades, keeping space between your shoulders and your ears, and slowly lengthen, lengthen back to center. We'll bring the left leg in. We'll do the other side with or without a band. You're bringing your arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. It's your range of motion, squeezing a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Rotation of your upper spine only. Don't open up your hips. And I'm lengthening back center, lengthen, lengthen. With this band, we can really feel it, not only in the shoulders, but the waist. Left arm threads underneath right. Pushing into my right hand. Rotation of my upper spine. So really pushing into my right hand. Really rotating that spine. Feeling a lovely stretch across my shoulders. Only if you want to, lengthen and lift that right leg, keeping those hips flat. Or you might choose just to swing your leg out to the right, keeping it nice and straight as you unthread your arm out to the side or up to the ceiling. With or without a band, but keep that leg nice and straight so you're feeling a deep stretch of the inner thigh. Squeezing a tennis ball, opening up that chest. With or without a band. And lengthen, lengthen back center. Slowly, slowly, slowly lengthen back to center. We come to 4-point kneeling. And then we just sit on our side, swing our legs round. We'll slowly roll back and just stretch it out. So you choose the level that's good for you. So I'm going to start at level 2 actually. Relax the feet and legs, lean back by an inch, then tuck in your pelvis, C-curve your spine, relax, relax. Keep those elbows open, remember to breathe. If you're feeling too tired, just roll down on the side. Or if you normally do level 2, come down to level 1. Or if you normally do level 1, just have the assistance of the band. Slowly roll down, hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. I'm crossing my ankles, opening up my knees, just deepening the stretch. Just deepens the stretch in my lumbar spine. So just stretch it out. So if you just put the band underneath the arch of your right foot, and your left leg can be bent or lengthened. I didn't have time for my other supine exercise. I wanted to do flex and point. I'm sure you're quite pleased. So pushing into the heel, pull the belly button to the spine. Feeling a deep stretch. Now drop that foot out to the right, tee your left. Lengthen through the joints. Open up your chest. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, lengthen that leg back to centre, but I'm not going to tug on the band too much, so I'm squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button spine, melting my rib cage into the mat, putting the band in my left hand, tee my right. I'm looking in the opposite direction, lengthening through the joints. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, lengthen that leg back to centre, and then we swap over. My right leg can be bent or lengthened, or sort of slightly lengthened or fully lengthened, depending on your flexibility. Push into the heel. Really relax those muscles. And drop your foot out to the left as you tee your right. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Lengthen through the joints. Really open up that chest. Just focus on your breath. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, lengthen the leg back to centre. I'm squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button spine. I can really feel my core muscles are bringing my leg back to centre. Put the band in the right hand. Keep the shoulders glued to the mat. Looking in the opposite direction. And lengthen back to centre. Just drop the band. We just stretch our glutes, left ankle and right thigh, hugging your knees to your chest. Really relax that right foot. Feeling a deep stretch in your left glute. Really hug the knees to the chest and relax that foot. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Before we come to the other side, see if you can lengthen your legs up to the ceiling. And then right ankle on left thigh, bend that left knee, hugging your knees to your chest. Really relax the foot. Feeling a really deep stretch in your right glute. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And gently put your foot down. If you grab your ball, just remove your block, grab your ball and put the ball underneath your head. So we're going to do chin tuck. So remember your double chin as you push into the ball for 8 seconds to release tension you hold in the head, neck and shoulders. This one's just a good one to do any time of the day. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, push, double chin. And release. And again, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. One more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. Just roll your head from side to side. Just let that ball deepen the stretch in the muscles in your neck. Just breathing. It's amazing how the ball can really deepen the stretch. in your neck, in the muscles in your neck. And back to center, just focus on your breath. And when you're ready, if you gently roll to the side and get yourself to seated in your own time, breathing continuously in your own time. And we just stretch the waist. So we shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the sun. So we're going to lengthen up, don't bend the arm, keep it lengthened and lengthen through the shoulder joints. So I'm still in between two panes of glass, my upper body, and I'm staying weighted on my seat bones. And then lengthen forward, look down at the mat, and I'm still lengthening the arm, not bending it, so I don't want to weaken the stretch. I'm still weighted on my seat bones. Back up to stretch in my waist and my hips. Shoulders down my back pockets, chest out to the sun, pull the belly button to the spine and back to center and over to the other side. So shoulders down my back pockets, chest out to the sun. Stay weighted on my seat bones. Don't bend the arm, this deepens a stretch by keeping it lengthened. Then look down at the mat, lengthen that arm forward, feeling a nice stretch. I feel a stretch in my left side, so you'll feel it in your right. Open up again, stay weighted and lengthen back to center, always pulling your belly button to the spine. So we're going to come to 4-point kneeling. Anyone with lumbar spine issues, step forward and get up. But if you're okay, tuck your toes under and we're going to come into that Pilates stance. Heels glued together, feet out to a 90-degree angle. As you push into your tailbone, tailbone up to the ceiling. And you're letting the top of your body hang, really let the top of the body hang. As you squeeze your glutes, micro bend in the knees, pull your belly button to the spine. So you restack your spine, but let the top of your body hang so you can see I'm really C-curving my spine. And back to center. And we'll just do a few arm circles. So we're going to lengthen up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, open up your chest. If you want to, you can lengthen up onto your tiptoes, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Relax those hands, lengthen through the joints. Or you can stay on your tiptoes, focusing on the point out in front. Pull the belly button spine, it really helps with your balance. Remember, it's all about stability. One more. Lengthen up, squeeze the shoulder blades together. My arms coming slightly behind me. And back to center. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.